Age 3 plus. Panda toilet paper roll craft. Native to China's rainforests. Alright, yo everyone, this is Phreak. This is an audio commentary, of course, for WCR, etc. Alright, so it's from the 2-minute mark this time. We're going from Shout's point of view. Flag of War on, as usual, etc. This is the only game that Shout won versus Undead. Out of all the Undeads he played, he beat every single human. He lost to almost every single Undead. I don't know about his Night Elf and Mirror stats, but there you go. So there's probably some edge that Orc has over Human, and there's definitely an edge that Undead has over Orc. Then again, Shout has an awesome early game versus Human. It's, you saw in an earlier commentary, there was like an 8-minute game, and it was him just brutally murdering the Human guy, just pulling in the Naga right there. And, that's something that, he's very good at, and that he's practiced a lot, and, he does it better than I think Grubby can do. Just because he does it so well, he can, kill people in such a short amount of time. I don't know. But he's very good. He definitely has credentials as an Orc player, I'll give you that. As for Skyward, he's a pretty good Undead player. I don't think he's, like, super Gosu top player. Then again, he played from... he plays online from Brazil, and there aren't exactly any Brazilian servers, so I think he has, some lag, and he manages to get into AT with that. I think it's pretty good, so he's definitely a good player. I don't know if he's up to skill with people such as Shout and, Insomnia and, people who are of that caliber, but he's not bad. He's going to be better than probably anyone you're going to face, so it's definitely got a stepping stone, something to look at, something to learn from. So this should be a good commentary on actually beating Undead, which seems impossible. It's my worst matchup as an Orc player, but you can see how this goes. So we're at the 2-minute mark. We're going to unpause this, and it'll be Gosu and all that. So let's unpause in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. So we started at 2 minutes because... well, that's when the Farseer comes out, and you notice he's doing a tech build. And now you notice his build order is the altar, and then the burrow, and the tech. And this is a build order I use myself, which is put the racks after the tech. And personally, I think you should put the racks before that burrow. But, that's just me. Because, barracks takes longer than a burrow. So if you put it up, you'll get grunts faster, and as you notice, he's at 17 food. It's not like he needs the burrow to be finished before the racks comes up. But, whatever. You pretty much want 1 racks and 2 burrows up, and apparently the war mill as well. You don't really need it quite so much. You need it eventually, but not, urgently. But you want 2 burrows up, as you can see, and a racks up by the time your tech finishes, and you want to start building your units. So... right now, what the Orc player has done is he's scouted out to the sides, and he knows that he's now cross-mapped from his opponent. So he knows, alright, well, I don't know exactly what strat he's going to do. He's, guessing at Fiends, which is why he's doing this, the Grunt Raider build. And he sends in the Wolf, and he's already at Tier 2, and he's got the Nerubian Tower up, and there's no graveyard. So he's seeing ghouls right now. He sees there's, 4 on wood already, there's another one being created. So he knows there's a lot of ghouls so far for Skyward. So he's like, okay, maybe it's not a Fiends build, or maybe he's just teching really quick to get Destros, etc., whatever. So he's like, alright, this is a ghoul build, and so he's gonna sort of think about it accordingly as, okay, I don't really need Hex, So, this is one sort of tool. So right now he gets the Staff of Teleportation, because what he wants to do is he wants to get in there and kill at least 1 Acolyte. And he knows that if he gets in there, he's gonna be inside within Nerubian Tower. He's probably going to get surrounded, so he's going to be using the Staff of Teleportation to get out. He is assuming that he's going to get noobed if he's not careful. So right now he's really just trying to focus down coils. Unfortunately, he is giving out some free EXP, so he tries to get himself out of a surround, which he does. Tries to get the wolf out of there, which well, doesn't really matter because he resummoned. That's something to think about. Is that when you resummon, the wolves disappear, and so they won't get EXP if you've got yourself trapped or whatever. So, so Skyward, really, he's going for the surrounds, because he knows that, killing the wolves, sure, it can happen, but, it's not this, it's not like it's necessary quite so much. It's just sort of, you want to get rid of the ghouls, or sorry, you want to get rid of the wolves, but ending the Farseer's life is so much more important. I mean, yes, you can get 40 EXP if you kill both wolves, but what he was trying to do is force a TP, or better yet, get a hero kill, which is more EXP, and more cost to the orc player. So you can see again with Shout Styles getting up the Naga Sea Witch, which I don't think he would have done if it were Fiends, simply because it's so easy to focus fire intel heroes with Fiends, and you want a bit of you want a bit more tanking, I guess. But barely takes out the coil, as you can see. I don't think Naga's a great choice versus Fiends, simply because, like, well, really, there's a slowing effect with Frost Arrow, but since you're gonna be going Grunt Raider as it is, it's not this big deal to have it. And when you can get like a TC or a Panda that'll like lower their damage output and slow them down so you can actually catch up to them, that's a little bit more important, I think. So Naga's not a great Fiend's choice in general, just because it's just easy to kill mostly, and you can catch up to it with Unholy Aura. Just overall, not my choice, but whatever. But it gets it versus ghouls because you can do a lot of damage to them. The Frost Arrow helps you pick them off a lot more than you can normally do with Fiends, just because they're so small and easy to grab, and I don't know, it just kind of works better for me. There's no burrow ability that you can get away from Frost Arrows. It's a good hero to choose. So anyway, we see that he has pretty much finished using the barracks, and he's now putting up a second bestiary. Now, why he's doing that is he sees that, yes, he's actually really not going with Fiends, he's actually using ghouls. So he's like, okay, the fool's using ghouls, let's react accordingly, and mass up wyverns so that he's forced to get, like, Destros or bats, which doesn't work, because, Destros or gargoyles, because bats counter gargoyles. And so, having the two bestiaries up ready to counter gargs, it's really easy to get rid of them with just a couple of bats. You just click B a couple times and you're in good shape. So right now he's trying to focus on the Death Knight. He noticed that he's low. He already came back. He already forced the TP, so he's going to chase him as best as he can. And he's got the Frost Arrow, he's got Ensnare, but he doubled up on it, and he didn't move like the Naga forward or anything to try to get better positioning or anything. So he's trying to knock down this Lich here. He's trying to get his Naga out of the way, of course. They're getting blocked a little bit, but he is going to get rid of that Lich right now, so he does get himself level 2. And so, right now, his mindset for Shout is, okay, well, he's got his early game advantage. He hasn't lost a single unit yet. Or sorry, I take it back. He has lost a Raider. But considering that he's out-crept him, and that he's, killed a lot more units, killed a hero, he's pulled a big advantage. So he knows that he can pretty much camp at his opponent's base, and he can sort of chill out there, and, he's got control now. So he takes it in snare so he can get the kill, gives himself a little bit of EXP. When you can, go ahead and do it, because you never know when that, 6 EXP per hero might give you level up, might save your hero, or might give you level 5 Forked Lightning, level 4 Forked Lightning, and, net you a couple of ghoul kills right there. You never know when it's going to be important, so you might as well give it your all. Because Ensnare doesn't cost mana, its cooldown's about 10 seconds, 10 to 12, 10 to 15, something like that. So, it's easy to, cast it, so you might as well use it when you can. So now he's pulled out the Wyvern, and he's got this 3-unit combo. He's got Raiders to knock stuff out. He's got Grunts for good meat shield and decent damage and a bit of anti-hero. He's got extra summons and extra AoE from his heroes. And he's got the high damage output Wind Riders. Sorry, that was the Yamna there that I sort of suppressed so it didn't make any noise. So, he's got a lot in his army. He's got another Raider, another Wind Rider. So he's got a lot of damage output. He's got the ability to pin stuff down so that if he's going to win a fight and his opponent's going to run away, well, he's going to force TPs out. And then, just so that his heroes aren't quite owned by the mass ghouls, because Wyvern don't have magic damage types, so, it does take a little bit of time to kill the ghouls. He's got some Grunts out there to help tank for his heroes so they don't get completely demolished by Coil Nova Surround. So there's a little bit of meat wall in there to make the ghouls run around. It could give you a little bit of extra damage so that when you do burn a TP or potions or whatever, it's a little bit of extra damage output. So right now he's focusing right onto the statue because, they cost more, they take more time to get out. Killing one ghoul doesn't do anything. Killing a statue does. And since you can't coil the statue, and you could coil a ghoul, he's getting himself a lot of extra. He's getting himself, pretty much ensuring himself a kill is what it is. So, now what he's done for himself is, again, cemented another kill. He's just continuing to stack up that advantage, uses an ensnare so he can get rid of that skeleton, hits it with an arrow. And he doesn't want to creep because he knows that his opponent knows where he is. He doesn't want to get creep jacked, so he just makes sure that he hits it with his ranged hero and is just chilling out right now because he knows that he doesn't need to creep. He just got himself level 2 on his seer, but he's like, he's not coming out to fight me, so I feel safe. I just forced a statue kill. His DK is probably low. If I focus it down really quick, I can probably do all right. I'm pulling in a bigger army. He thinks I'm in good shape. I'm going to creep this out really fast and hope I don't get jacked. And as you can see, he's in pretty good shape. Even if he did get jacked, there's no ensnare creeps in that spot. So it's like, I can ensnare something and kill it. So, he's got control. And that's one of the most important things. So now he sees that, yes, there are indeed gargoyles. So he webs it instantly so that it doesn't own him. And he's focusing it down with his wyvern because they're very easy kills. Down it goes. And a very judicially cast healing scroll. And he's going to focus down the statue again because that healing is something he doesn't want. Again, he can't coil the statue, so you might as well get rid of it. Forked lightning, down goes the, Dreadlord. Whenever you see a low hit point hero, you might as well get rid of it. Chain lightning goes off. I'm not sure if that was level 1 or 2 chain lightning. It might have been level 2. But, ensnares the Lich, starts focusing it down. Doesn't have any more ensnare cooldown. They're also very low hit points, so if the Lich can put off a Nova, it's going to really hurt him. But, the Lich is only level 1, so it's not a huge nuke. And he backs off, realizing that it's running away is the better part of valor, or retreat, or whatever the hell the phrase is. Anyway, to recap, all that's been going on for Shout is that he's pulled out this huge early game advantage. He's only lost 1 unit, maybe 2. Yeah, he lost a grunt in there. So he's lost 2 units so far. He's killed 2 heroes. I mean, he's done a ton. Currently, he's pulled this huge advantage. He's got the level 3 Seer, level 3 Naga. He's got this huge unit advantage and hero advantage because his opponent hasn't crept at all. He's crept, I think, 1 full camp, and even then he got creep jacked and lost a statue for it. So that's not always fun. So, sorry, that was another yawn. So what he's aiming to do is to continue to creep and pull himself hero advantage. What he's done the entire early game is pressured. And so the entire game now, Skyward's going to be paranoid. He's going to be creep jacking me. He's going to be creep jacking me. And that's what the Raiders do for him. Is when he creep jacks, it's a free kill. As you can see, every creep jack was a free kill because of the Raiders. So I mean, you can't underestimate them. Now, I don't know if I think I said this in an earlier commentary, but you have to treat them as melee casters. Yes, they have 25 average siege damage, but then again, they're melee. They don't have a lot of armor. They're not huge damage units. They really aren't. Yes, they have a little bit more damage than grunts, but they're a lot less durable. Grunts have 23 average damage. Raiders have 25. Whoa, big change there. Really, Raiders are melee casters, and their spell is ensnare. They're not durable. I mean, they're weaker than spellbreakers, except that they're not magic immune. And yes, they are quicker, but they don't have that cool feedback thing. Just think of them as melee casters. This isn't ROC. You can't mass casters anymore. So really, getting a lot of Raiders won't do much for you. You really just want 2 or 3 because when you think about it, you can only focus 1 unit at a time. And yes, when you focus something, it'll die pretty quickly. That is true. But when you consider that the cooldown is actually pretty short, you're not gaining a whole lot by ensnaring 5 units, because by the time you've killed 3 of them, the cooldown's done and those 2 ensnares are pretty much wasted. The Raiders don't do much after you've got about 2 or 3. Sure, you can use them against buildings as a harassment, but I mean, come on, that's not really one of the main strategies of Orc, unless you're in FFA. So treat them as casters, only get a few, and now, what Shout's doing is getting himself. Sorry for the I'm really sorry. It's 2 a.m., so I'm not really on the ball. But I hope this is an okay commentary. He's getting the damage unit that are Wyvern. So he ensnares and then focuses, and they'll die in about 2 seconds. And yeah, this is where getting about 3 or 4 Wind Riders would do a little bit more, simply because what am I saying? I'm sorry. Because it's easy to focus them down really quickly. Yeah, so it's not like you're gonna really. It's not like it's gonna take a long time to churn through those targets. It's gonna be 1 or 2 waves of Wyvern focus, on to the next one, kill it, on to the next one, kill it, and with that in a snare, you can pin them in place so they can't get away. It's essentially web for Orc. And that'll mean that they have to stay and fight. I mean, since you have to stay and fight as it is because they have web, you might as well bring that back to them. And so as you can see, when the web was going down, he just TP'd away. Now, the reason that Shout did that attack is he had just crept, a good creep path. And, he could have crept more, but he wanted to keep his opponent in check. Like, he was perfectly content in keeping with mass air. And so what he wanted to do is he ran in there and got a free Fiend kill, as you saw. And he forced a TP. And then he got to check out his opponent's army. So he got to see just how much anti-air he had, so he knew how many bats he needed to get. So he got to see if he's going primarily for Gargs or primarily for Fiends as his anti-air choice, or even going for Destroyers. And so what this did is he saw that he was at tier 3, so he knew that Destroyers were possible. And he saw that there were indeed, there was indeed like 1 Fiend for defense, in the case of a Wind Rider harassment. And he just wanted to force a TP, burn some money. Since he's already gotten a bunch of kills from creep checking, he's already made him spend a lot of money on that. So when you each spend 350 gold for a TP, that's just into his advantage. Because, if you've got 5 grunts versus 2 grunts, and neither you nor your opponent can spend any more gold, you're going to win. Now, if you've got 5 grunts versus 3 grunts, and you're each allowed to build 20 more, that whole advantage is pretty much gone. It's just now whoever micros better is going to win. So by, forcing a little bit of gold on each side, helps keep the unit count a little bit lower, which is to his advantage. Because really, what this is about is that the Undead army is better than the Orc army. And this wasn't trying to be a Tillerman spoof, it really is. So there's no good counter to Destroyers and Fiends. There isn't, because they will rip up your entire ground army, and with web, your air army isn't going to do jack. So you have to get higher level heroes. As you can see, there's a 3 Death Knight, 3 Dreadlord, 3 Lich, versus 4, 4, and 2. It's a total of 9 hero levels, also a total of 10. So there's a slight hero advantage for Orc, but he doesn't have a TP, so he's obviously not going to use one. He's going to group up his army, get himself some scrolls, hide back into burrows. He's got fortified armor, so he's safe and waiting for a short time. It's not a big deal. And now, Skyward's like, well, where's his army? He's got to be coming in soon. I've already killed a building. Where's he at? And he's smart and comes out, and here's the army. So he TP's saying, oh crap, that's a huge air army. And he runs in there, chain lightning, forked lightning, thanks for the ghoul. That's like quick reflex. That's what quick reflexes and no lag will do for you, is it'll get you some kills. If your opponent's going to run away, you're like, wait, speed scroll, AoE, haha, you lost a ghoul. And for a 50 gold speed scroll and 110, 120 mana, on each of the heroes, he forced a TP and a free ghoul. And I think the clarities will make up for the ghoul cost, but you still get the XP for it. And the TP, of course, is an advantage in itself. So now he's forced, 3 TPs over the course of the game, and that's going to pull him, a good unit advantage that he's going to need, because once Undead's allowed to get a lot of Destroyers and Fiends, and they have high enough heroes to pick up any kind of slack, they're going to just walk through you, because you notice this guy has no strength heroes. All of his heroes have under 900 HP, and there's and that's including having plus 9 strength on one of them, and having a parry up on the other. He's lucky that he has so many hit points on his heroes, because he really got good item drops. If he got like plus agility, plus intel, he wouldn't even be as durable. And he's added in the Shadow Hunter for some healing, so he's got some more longevity on his heroes, and he's a little bit more resistant to nuking. And he's got the AoE damage as it is. Adding another shockwave would be useful, but he's going to be thinking there's going to be destroyers soon, and so he's going to make sure he's got himself some healing as opposed to AoE that destroyers are going to be immune to. And it's not like shockwave is going to really be a good hero nuke. So now his mindset is to keep a balanced army, keep a good amount of anti-air and forceful damage, with the bats and wyvern, and rounding out his army with, some more grunts and raiders, so that, he has, again, the mix, so that he can really be ready for anything. If there's just a few too many gargoyles, you can web them. If there's a few too many ghouls, at least you have some grunts to stick up for you. You can chain heal them. You can use AoE to knock them out. Ghouls really won't be a problem. Gargs won't be a huge problem, except for web. And so what's going to happen is this guy's going to want his Wind Rider's web first, so that the bats can actually get in there, because web bats do nothing. They're completely worthless units. They cannot concoction or anything. So now he sees that his opponent's attacking his main. He's like, well, that's fine. I have freaking, liquid fire. I don't care. So he sees a TP and runs back. There's the fourth TP that he's forced now. So again, that's 1,400 gold, which is a pretty big deal. It's definitely paid for his expansion. But the 1,400 gold, when Shouts used one, and then rebought it. Whoa, big deal. That's this huge gold advantage that he's brought out. And again, with all the unit assassinations, he's definitely winning in monetary advancements. But then you see that fiends aren't horrible anti-air, and here come the destroyers. And oh crap, so he burns the chain heal, he burns all the AoE, and he's trying to focus on the fiends as best he can, because that's his major threat. With his ground units, and with his air, he's trying to knock out the destroyer. But again, since he's webbed, his bats aren't doing anything. They're just getting focused and killed instantly. His bats are just really, really worthless. He's just trying to knock out, as many of the ground forces as he can. But the Nova and the Carrion Swarm, all that's going off. And he manages to knock out the DK with this Hex combo. He's going a healing wave at Hex, as opposed to getting Serpent Wards and whatnot, because fiends are good against Serpent Wards. Now destroyers aren't good against Serpent Wards, because Serpent Wards are magic immune, so you can't dispel them, you can't focus them with Destros. But the fact that the guy's got fiends, they're not a good choice, and you never know when Hex can come in handy. So you might as well get it in there just in case. Again, more hero focus, and manage to knock out all his heroes. But, and he sends off the chain heals. He's got, 5-5-4 for the heroes. He's got Shadow Wolves against Fiends. There's, one Destroyer out. There's 3 Fiends out, big deal. Down goes one, down, another one's about to die. But, you just saw in that battle that Undead managed to destroy his entire army with, despite having to spend so much money the entire game. And even now, he's almost able to push him off because of defensive towers. He upgrades to spirit towers. He's got the main hall. He's trying to focus down the Wind Rider a little bit, but Shouts is saying, look, I just owned your army and all your heroes. If any time I'm going to be reckless, it's now, because you're not going to gain any EXP, even if you are going to get a kill. And yes, my Expo has lost 500 hit points from the Acolyte, but he's like, if any time I'm going to fight, this is going to be now. He's trying to knock out the army, into a total just TKO, so that, he doesn't have to come back and fight a full army again and, try to pick up the slack again with all his AoE damage and AoE healing, It's just funny that, Skyward's already back in action because of, his towers, he's not, completely back, his Death Knight's already back. He doesn't have an army, of course, but, he's got the towers up, and he does, have an expansion up, that, was revealed, luckily for him. By sending in a wolf. So what I'm saying, I guess, is, when you've actually got an advantage, and when you're sure you have it, you've got all 3 heroes in good shape, and you have healing ready, that's when it's okay to really chase an Undead into his base. As you can see, Skyward had to build 4 towers, and they hardly did anything, which is the funny part. When you've really got an advantage, they don't have heroes, there's no surprise that they're going to have, and you make sure you have a TP and a potion on your heroes. That's when it's okay to chase into a base and try to pull out some really good advantages. Otherwise, you're really not going to do a whole lot, just because, with towers and all that crap, it's going to be really tough for you to actually kill stuff. So, let's see what's going on now. He's forcing a TP again. And so you can see this effective orc tactic by having just the 2 raiders and pulling out the wyvern fast. That's a good way to beat ghouls, because wyvern definitely are a great counter to ghouls. They just, they don't have a damage type advantage or anything, but they have so much focus fire potential, and since ghouls can't hit them, there's a lot of damage to be had there. And God, what am I saying? I'm sorry, it's late, so I'm not tracking well. Yeah, no, it's about 2:20. Let's see, what do I attribute the win to? I'm just gonna no transitions at all. What I'm attributing the win to, for Shout, is he forced so many TPs and he killed so many free units with raiders and his hero spells that as long as he kept pace, and as long as he didn't make any mistakes, he was going to beat Skyward. He saw that, as you saw, he forced over 1,400 gold worth of TPs. I mean, when you have to keep rebuying them and then using them and rebuying them and using them, I mean, you think, almost 1,500 gold worth of TPs that, he got to spend on, like, Wind Riders, and, that was, enough to pull him this huge advantage. As you can see, he's doubled his hero score, beat him on units, although he didn't win on resource, whatever. His tactic was just to pull this huge advantage and just outnumber him so well. He's got such good, small number micro. As you can see, he beats all these humans in under 8 minutes. In under 8 minutes, and he tries to apply the same tactics to Undead. He's just forcing, mistakes after mistakes. He's getting himself, in really good shape. He's just, forcing so much monetary loss and leveling himself up by killing statues and ghouls and whatnot that he gets himself a unit and hero advantage. And, knowing that Undead pretty much does beat Orc in like a straight fight just because, the heroes are better and their units are better. You cannot use bats against destroyers because they have fiends. They're completely useless. That's one of your anti-air options, just out the drain because of their base unit. And destroyers own Grunt Raider so hard that you're forced to get this sort of random Wyvern and Grunt Raider mix that you hope he doesn't focus fire well, because, your Wyvern will die to fiends and your Grunt Raiders will die to the destroyers, that he knows that he needs some kind of advantage, because he knows that a straight fight, he won't win. So what he does is he forces this huge monetary deficit on Skyward. He gets so many statue and ghoul kills and forces so many TPs, and levels up off of it, that he gets the hero advantages tacked on, that all he's hoping for is he's hoping just to have such a huge edge over his opponent that he can actually win a fight. He's getting himself the higher level heroes. He was 5-5 and 4 when his opponent was 3-3 and 3. His army, had over 1,000 gold more put into it, in terms of upgrades and the unit mix and whatever, because you just had destroyers and fiends versus grunts, raiders, wind riders, bats. 4 units versus 2. Bats did nothing. Raiders, they pin stuff down. That's all they got. They're not damage. Grunts, they got killed by destroyers pretty easily, but they had some pretty good anti-fiend damage. And the Wind Riders, they just dealt as much damage as they could. Managed to actually kill one destroyer, which is pretty cool. I guess he missed a coil or something. Wind Riders, don't have damage type advantage, but they do focus fire well, against fiends. And he's just picking up the slack with his hero spells. He's playing sort of Undead style, letting your heroes pick up the slack, because your army definitely won't beat him. They just won't, unless you get a pure Grunt Raider versus Fiend kind of thing. You won't otherwise win the fight. And if he has a Crypt Lord, then even then you won't win the fight, because he's got that extra meat shield, and it's huge. So, he's just biding his time, not letting him creep up to high-level heroes, which is big when he's got DK Lich. One of the key things about DK Lich is letting yourself creep up pretty high, and having that big nuking and AoE fest and the healing and all that, which should have really, really saved him against that unit advantage, because with all that AoE, he definitely could have pulled advantage back into the Undead's favor by knocking out a bunch of Wind Riders and Raiders with Nova, Carrion Swarm, etc. So this will be Phreak signing out, and I bid you all farewell. I hope you have some Good games coming up. Hope you can beat some Undead players. DBoss is indeed a noob. And this will be Phreak signing out. Goodbye.